Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I chased down a lot of guests, hunted them down. This one, I got her, the elusive Kimberly. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, this is so good. You know what I was thinking about this morning when I knew I was going to interview? I know you as Enlifted, Kimberly, and I know you Row. Mm-hmm. That's about as far as I got. So, I'm very interested to hear, I know you just did a big move, which is a big thing. I'm interested to hear about life before I know you running with this Enlifted crew. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear. So go take it away.
Absolutely. So I met you through Enlifted, which has been the primary focus of my professional life for the last year. And I've been working with Adam and Mark to build out that coaching certification. The way that I got to that position on the team was my background in health coaching. So I first worked with Enlifted as a client, and I knew Mark through Mike Bledsoe. And when I first started health coaching in 2017, I believe is when I first got started. I quit my full-time job in 2018, late 2018, early 2019. I was all in on building out my coaching business. And so I worked with the Strong Coach team to learn the foundations of business. That's how I met Mark. I started learning about soft talk. I started learning about goal setting and opened up a whole magic bag of tricks with language. So I was doing nutrition coaching, primarily working with women in weight loss and then high performing New Yorkers because I was living in New York City. So my personal story that led me to health coaching was I moved to New York after college, working in the corporate life. I was always an athlete growing up. I was a rower, which is why the row coaching at Row House makes sense. And I got into like the life of New York City, which was drinking, partying, eating takeout, enjoying myself, quote unquote, in the way that I thought that I was supposed to. And I really wasn't very fulfilled in my job. So fast forward 2-3 years of that lifestyle really caught up to me. I had gained a significant amount of weight and I was like a stranger in my own body. I was feeling very dissatisfied with my work. I was feeling dissatisfied in a lot of my relationships. And so I threw myself into health and fitness. And I really committed myself to getting back into the gym. I started to really get ingrained into New York City's boutique fitness industry, which is a lot of fun. And so my workouts became like my social life. And I ended up over the span of the next 4 to 5 years, I lost 95 pounds. So significant physical change that led me to people asking questions about that journey on the way. And mind you, I'm working in my corporate job, just in an office every day. People are watching me lose weight and get happier and healthier. And they're like, how are you doing this? And it occurred to me that people really don't know. And I was finding so much success in it. And I was so passionate about it that, and mind you, the other side of my life is going downhill in this job because I'm succeeding in it, but I'm just not finding any value in it. So I said, you know what, screw it. I want to go become a health coach. I'm going to throw this all away. I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. And I really see an opportunity to help people. I see an opportunity to help myself. And I want to really change the dynamic in the New York City health and fitness industry because it was very vain and very just not necessarily about getting people results, more about just who's who. The instructors are all athletes and models and or actors and models. And I was who's out here really helping people? I could do that. So I took it on, started doing it, health coaching and nutrition coaching, primarily in CrossFit gyms and some more high performer style gyms, athletes, people who are working jobs that are beating themselves into the ground through their 9 to 5, which is really their 8 to 9. And then they're in the gym before that or after that. And then they're all doing the same rat race that I was doing. And I was like, hey guys, I can help you live a better quality of life. Even if you're going to stay in this job, right? And you're out here chasing your paychecks and climbing your corporate ladders. Cool. Let's at least get you healthy so that you can do that better. So went all in on the health coaching, really was receiving a lot of coaching myself to be able to be a business owner and to perform at a high level, like deliver higher results for my clients. And then I got really burnt out. And that's when Unlifted came into the picture to sort me out personally. So I went through the same groundbreaking transformation that you went through in level 1. And I was like, oh shit. All right, cool. Got some changes to make.
It's, I maybe it's just that season, but I know, me and Chase had a really good podcast the other day. We've been talking, and then I saw a clip with you and Dave. It seems like the health coach sector is kind of your way in, but it seems like everybody's kind of morphing into this, like, even my web designer, like she's explaining to me what she does. And I'm like, you're coaching. Like, and she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're coaching. And I was like, if you just put coach next to it, you can charge double. And she was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I like this. So, like, is that what you've kind of seen as like, yeah, there's the health and fitness, but like, and I have a rule, like you can't work with me unless you work out. Like I'm not going to work on your mind if you're not going to work on your body.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So this is something that I see. This is my own personal story. And this is the story of many Unlifted coaches that we've worked with since. There's, and Mike Bledsoe was actually the first person to plant this idea in my head. Fitness is the gateway to personal development. And I really believe that to be true because one, that was my story. I was dissatisfied in my life. I could see myself, it was like, I was drinking almost every single day of the week. I was eating garbage food every single day of the week. I was like not fulfilled in relationships, job that didn't make me light up. And so of course my body like fell into this place of disease, right? Like I was obese, like by, like, it's not like I'm not talking about it's like over, like I was obese and like people think about, like look at me and they're like, oh, I wouldn't think of you as obese. I'm like, well, I definitely was. And it's unhealthy and it didn't feel good. And like being in a city like New York, where I have to walk around everywhere, I've got to climb in and out of subway stairs. Like I did not feel good every single day. So what did that do? It made me stay and hide in my apartment more. It made me, rather than going out to eat to get the garbage food, order it in takeout. And the lifestyle was just like the same thing in the same downward trend until I said, enough's enough. And so I went back to the gym because that was the place that I had known as an athlete growing up as like a way to work it out. Right. And I knew that I could get that weight off my body and that would make me feel better. So, but through that journey of showing up every single day. I mean, the reason that fitness teaches you so much about yourself is I have to show up every single day consistently. I have to put in my reps. I have to put in the work, right? Like I have to get uncomfortable here. And then once I get the energy moving in my body, once I start to physically transform and change, even before I see a visual change, I start to feel better. And I start to notice like emotion shifting around in my body. I start to notice different thoughts and different views of myself coming up in my head. And I, one night over Thai food with Mark, I was like sitting there and explaining part of this story to him. And I had this like ding, ding, ding moment. And I said to him, I was like, Mark, I just realized like the reason that I was able to succeed at this and the reason that I was able to do it was because I had the image of success in my mind and I had the story of success and I knew I could get there. I was like, I just didn't know what a story was at the time. I didn't know that internal narrative mattered as much as it did. And I was able to go from overweight, out of shape, unhappy, unfulfilled through a journey. And it took me 4 to 5 years. Like this wasn't a short, like quick turnaround. This wasn't like, oh, boom, I decided and here I am. It took a lot of consistent work. It took a lot of like diving in on me. And it took a lot of like shift in my energy, in my environment, right? Between my relationships with friends and how I was spending time with them to how I was spending time by myself, with myself. And it just became this all in on, I'm going to make myself feel better, body, mind, soul. So it was like physically first. Then it became, all right, the mindset piece is so important. And then that led me down this path of connecting deeper with my soul, connecting deeper with my spirit. Like, how can I learned that I was a divine being, and there was this ability for my body to be able to heal itself and to really like become more optimal. And optimal is really, I'm stealing this one from Brian Costello, who we interviewed on Getting Lifted podcast. Optimal is normal, right? Like feeling good is normal. Okay. And so much of people in our society, just that's not the case. So we need to shift that. Mm-hmm. And so my own journey of self-development through fitness and health became my biggest passion to teach to other people, because I really believed, I was like, they don't know how to do it. They don't have the support they need, and they desperately need it. So I can be that person. And that's what led me down the route of coaching, was because people, one, were seeking my input and my advice. And then I started blogging about it. And then it was like, oh, wow, no, I'm really going to do this. I'm really going to become a coach. Mm-hmm. And it just was a no-brainer for me, because it solved everything. I got to talk about what I was super passionate about every single day. I got to live it every single day. I got to support other people going through it too. And it was like, this is awesome. And then joining the Enlifted team was a no-brainer for me, because I realized how important that tool was for coaches to have, because that was the thing that helped me really unlock all of my success for myself and my clients. So it was like, okay, no brainer. Like, I'm going to join a team to teach other coaches this so that they can go out and keep moving my message forward. And we work with coaches that are not just health and fitness coaches. We work with life coaches, business coaches. We do work with health and fitness coaches. We work with coaches of all kinds. And I don't really care what type of coach you are, because if you're helping other people live a better quality of life and do things that make them happier and healthier, like, hell yeah, that aligns with me. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a beautiful evolution. And I still do coach group fitness classes with Row House, which, checks that box for me about being in the gym with people and really helping them move forward. But I get to use the language tools throughout the entire class, and with how I cue and how I motivate and how I speak to people before and after class and how I get them thinking differently. Mm-hmm. And they all say, there's something different about your classes. I don't know what it is. I'm like, well, I know what it is. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. So
it's interesting, because like, this is my holy fuck, like in the last couple of weeks, is that, I get a massage a week. I eat really good. I work out 7 days a week. I take care of myself. I don't drink. And even I don't feel great all the time. So then the question is somebody that's doing none of those things, they're not really assholes. They just don't feel good. Like, the amount of people that are working too much, got too many screens on, too much bleep, 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 and I told Chase, like, we're all just iPhones with a million apps open and no updates. Yeah. And you're not, and like, I'm just as guilty when it comes to like resting, because I'm work, it's always work and stuff. But so that really, like, I wouldn't say scares me, but in a sense, it scares me to say like how disconnected we have got. And I think the bigger issue is that we don't know what health is anymore. They've convoluted the water so much that, do I eat eggs? Do I not eat eggs? Do I eat this? Do I don't eat? There's this program, that program. And I try to tell everybody time, like, there's no fucking program. You're the program. Like, fix you. It doesn't matter what shoes you're wearing. Doesn't matter what fucking clothes you're wearing. Stop self-sabotaging yourself.
Yeah, well, the program is the program in your mind, right? That's the narrative.
Yeah, like, I have a client, like, we've been fighting for like months for him to work out. And he's like, I'm like, go walk like 10 minutes. He's like, that's not going to do anything for me. I'm like, well, then just give up. I mean, like, because you're not even listening to me. It's the act of doing the walk that matters. What the results are. For me, I mean, in my personal journey, I myself lost 75 pounds, and I threw the scale out because mentally I was not in a place where I could handle it. The yo-yoing of the scale. And so what I do is just what you said. I chase feeling good. That's what I go after. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the piece that I notice. I notice the line between I feel like total crap and I feel kind of okay, right? That leap over that first hurdle is the biggest move for a person to make. it's also the biggest indicator of how much better you can feel. Right. So I look at people, it's true.
I think to myself, like I was drinking like half a bottle of vodka a day. Like that line for me is even larger than most.
Yeah. Well, okay. Even just take somebody who's sedentary and who eats primarily processed foods and who is constantly plugged into a screen. Like they are not connected to their body and they don't know what it's like to have real energy. Right. So if we put fine, like if we go on a scale of 1 to 10 and we put fine in the middle at 5, a sedentary person who's living somewhere between like the 0 to 3 range, which is, I feel like shit, right? For the most part, almost every single day, to get them from that 0 to 3 to that 5, right? Maybe it's only 2 steps, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5. That move is so massive. And the quality of life goes up so much. And then when you go from a 5 to a 7, and it's like, hey, most days I feel pretty freaking good. Okay. That also is a massive leap, but it doesn't impact your quality of life as much as that 3 to 5 does, right? Still 2 steps, but just to get you to a fine, right? Like, all right, cool. If we can get you closer to that top end of the, I feel great every single day, how much more can you contribute to the world? How much more can you do for the people around you? How much more can you do for yourself? And that's why when I look at like people that are in the bottom half of that scale, it's like, you don't feel good about anything because you're not contributing to anything. So if you feel better, right? If you can get yourself to feel better, you're going to contribute something, and that's going to help you feel better too, right? So it's like, it's all of the things that work to get us in that range of I feel better. And for me, what it all came down to was getting that story straight in the head. And that's why in Lifted, the work within Lifted is so powerful, is because if we can shift your personal narrative, and if we can get you to a place where you believe that you can go out for a walk and that 10 minutes of walking does in fact move the needle. Okay, well now maybe it's 10 minutes of walking this week, but maybe next week it's 20. And it's like, hey man, I just like feel a lot better. I have a little more energy. This is great. And then the week after that, we get up to 30. And then the week after that, we get up to an hour, right? We can start to stretch it out. And every good thing takes time. It takes reps. It takes practice. And if you're unwilling to work at your own physical health, you're unwilling to work at anything else in your life. Like, tell me something that's more important than your physical health, right? If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So if you're unwilling, that's where it starts. In my book, that's where it starts. So I'm always like, I love the rule, you don't get to work with me unless you work out. Right. I love that rule. You know why? Because that ensures that somebody knows how to show up regularly to something, and it knows that they know how to prioritize their own physical body. And that's
what do you say to the people? Because I mean, this is what they say all the time. Like, I'll worry about my physical health when I get to here, like financially or something. You know, like that bullshit they're always spitting. Like, you know, I don't understand that concept. Like you can't even show up to go make the money if you don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah. The quickest thing that I can say is, all right, we can look at how are you making the money is the first place I'm going to ask, right? If you have if it comes through any sort of relationship with other people, who do you think people are more willing to spend their money with? Somebody who looks put together, who's energized, and who looks healthy, or somebody who has a horrible mood, is a little disheveled, maybe is a little overweight, is sweating during the meeting, right? Like this is not to make it about your appearance, but that's a big factor in how people perceive your ability to help them, right? If you're trying to, like, I put this in the perspective for coaches, right? If you're trying to sell your services, that I'm going to make your life better, and I have something that you want, and I'm going to teach you something great, you have to be magnetic. You've got to look good, and you've got to have good energy. And if you don't,
I accidentally have the best social accountability on the planet, because if coach isn't doing it, then why the fuck would I do it?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, today, for example, I didn't want to work out. Yeah. I didn't want to do it. I had a 1 hour window. My calendar today is quite booked, and with stuff that I love to do. Right. But it means I'm going to be sitting in front of the computer most of the day. I had a 1 hour window. Well, I had 2 1 hour windows. It was like a 1 hour window here, a meeting, and then another 1 hour window. And I knew that in both of those 2 open hours, I needed to eat lunch and I needed to get in some movement. So the idea was, okay, which one am I going to do first? Not necessarily like neither of those things. Like, I don't necessarily want to take my time to go do that. Like, I want to go finish this email. I want to go over here and make a sale. I want to go over here and post this on Instagram. But I know that my body needs that break, and it needs a chance to like go expend some energy and then go receive some energy. And so what did I do? I did a workout. I thugged it out. I didn't want to do it. Like, no part of me wanted to go pick up that kettlebell, and I did it. And I felt great after, right? There was this like shift in, okay, well, now I know that I took care of one of those basic needs for myself today. And then I took the meeting in the middle, and then I nourished myself after. And it was like, great. I feel great. And now here I am talking to you guys.
Yeah. People always say, we're never going to get to a place where I just want to all the time. Like, no, never.
No, you never want to.
I'm launching this huge business thing right now that, like, if I spent 2.5 seconds thinking about it, it would scare me to death, but I just won't, because what I'm doing is going one foot in front of the other. I only handle what you can handle, and then let that show up. And like, that's through all my work is be like, don't attach myself to like what could happen. Just focus on the here. And you know, like, there's, dude, like I was telling Chase, it's like 10 degrees here, and we got like 2 feet of snow, and like I'm standing, you know, I'm about to open up it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm about to open that door, and like I took like 2 minutes, and like I was just having this conversation with myself, and I was like, no part about you wants to do this, but I was like, if you just take the first step out there, I was like, I promise you'll take the second one. And that's what I did. And, you know, I didn't want to be out there, but I got it done. And so like, sometimes guys, you know, like, don't think, everybody that's listening, like, it's not all roses all the time.
No.
But every time I do, here's the rub. And this is what somebody told me a long time ago. I've never once regretted doing the workout. I've never like got done and gone, oh yeah, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. And so if we look at like the binary language in that, right? Because I'm always interested in the language patterns. It's like, I've never regretted a workout. That means that 100% of the time I've been grateful that I did that workout or I completed that. Mm-hmm. Right. And we just switch it. I've never regretted it. Right. Well, we don't want to put our attention onto the regrets. We want to look at the attention on our success. Like 100% of the time that I start a workout, I'm successful. Right. I complete it, like, or 100. And maybe it's not even completed to, like, this is something I teach in my rowing classes all the time. Right. Because everybody's coming in with a different agenda for the day, or different like bullshit they've gone through the day. Right. And so we go off of, I teach in different ranges of effort, and we say, you know, it's like, our max power pace is 85 to 100% effort. And I often say to people, I say 100% is a feeling. It is not a number. I'm not associating that 100% to the numbers I see across my monitor. What I'm associating that to is the feeling I get that I showed up and I gave my best today. Oh. So I showed up for me, and I'm here and I'm giving it my all. My all today might be like 50% of what I normally have, because I'm stressed out about a family member who's sick. I had a really hard day at work. I'm emotionally unavailable for this workout, right? I'm not able to give myself the full juice to this. I've been underfueled. I didn't sleep well, and I still chose to come, right? And sometimes there's people who I'm like, today wasn't the day to work out, right? And that's okay. But the thing is that like, if you're here, I want you to give me 100% of where your battery is today. Mm-hmm. And some days, right, on the flip side of that, some days you come in feeling like the Hulk. Some days you have eaten all the right foods, you closed a big deal, you know, had a great weekend with your girlfriend, and you're just like ready, you know, and you come in, and now 100% would be limiting yourself if you went off of a number, because you've got more. You've got more than that. So I want you to feel like you've pushed everything, right? And every single day that number is different. And so I like to look at that and say to people, like, we're chasing a feeling. And when you get more in tune, and this is like, you know, further in your practice of using that fitness or your health as a gateway into your intuition and to your spirit, right? To be able to guide what you really need in that day. It's about nourishment. Right. So working out and fitness is about getting stronger, building more, right? It's not about draining ourselves and beating ourselves into the ground. It's about replenishing our energy. It's about making us stronger. It's about moving us forward. So if we look at that as the goal and the result, now it becomes a different relationship. with the work. And to, I've never regretted it. It's the same thing as saying I've always been grateful that I did it, or I'm always happy that I did it. Both binary, right? One puts us into that little bit of, this idea, the image of regret, which it could be good, it could be motivating for somebody when it comes to a workout, right? I've never regretted it. It might be like, oh yeah, but I have in the past, I've regretted not doing it, right? Like I regretted when I just sat on the couch and ate M&Ms instead of going out and swinging my kettlebell, but it becomes a different story, right? So when we focus on the success and we focus on showing up and giving it our all, whatever that might be in any given day, like that's where we move ourselves forward step by step by step. It's just like nothing worth achieving is ever like comfortable or easy. Nothing.
And the question is that what you want? Like, I don't know. I was skiing yesterday and I was listening to these guys on the lift talk, and he was just like, he's talking about his employees, and he's like, I just don't get it. He's like, they're just so content with like not achieving anything. He's like, is that what we're teaching society? And I was like, sorry to say, but sort of. I mean, like I'm sorry to break your heart from a younger guy, but like, yeah, like, and the question is like, here's the truth about being around me and my girlfriend. Like, I'm not having it. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, if you're around me, like, here's what people don't understand about me. It's not an anger thing. I spent most of my life as an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I hung around a lot of shitty fucking people. Like, anybody that's doing that are not good people. They're negative. They're energy suckers. I refuse to be around it. Not only do I refuse to be around it, you will be removed from my vicinity. And the thing is like, my girlfriend talks about me like, Austin's not really good at hiding his emotions. Like, and she's like, everybody pretty much knows how you feel right when you walk in the room. Maybe that means
that you are good at expressing your emotions.
Yeah, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. But the thing is like, what I found is like, one of my secret gifts is like, I'm going to make you think that you're bigger than you are. Like, that's my shit. Like, when people get around me, like, they're going to do stuff that they never thought, because my secret weapon is seeing something in you that's greater than yourself. That's how I work with my business partners, because I see something in them. I put them in the right spot. So if that's the case, then and I'll just share my technique of how I coached before I met y'all, before I knew anything, was I find out who you want to be. I find out what your dreams are. And then I only speak to you as if they already happened. And what happens is you walk to that person, because I'm only speaking to you as if that already happened. Like, you already got the 200 units. Like, what are you going to do next? And they're like, well, I haven't done that yet. And I'm like, no, you already got the 200 units. And then it makes them, yeah.
It's identity, right? And that's why I like bring it back to my weight loss story. It was like, I had the vision of success. I showed up to the gym every day. Like, I was the fit girl that I am now, right? I showed up to the gym every single day, ready to work, because I saw the image of my body looking how it looks now. I saw myself feeling how I feel now. And I was writing about it. I was talking about it to people. I was sharing it. And that success story gets you, like, you're willing to show up and be that person. And what it comes back to is like your identity, right? And I've had plenty of mentors that I've worked with that have done very similar things to what you just mentioned there. And that has been profound for me. Because when someone else recognizes and reflects back to you that that's what you're capable of, you want to rise to meet it if it's somebody who you respect, but you want to rise to meet it because there's a part of you that sees that too. And what's happening is your imposter voice is too fucking loud. So it's holding you back, because it's starting to look at all of the reasons why maybe you, stories from the past of why you failed, things that could go wrong, all of the negative components of what it takes to reach that level of success. What if we start looking at the good stuff? What if we look at the level of success we could achieve? Because when we shift that focus, now it becomes more exciting and it becomes more achievable, and it becomes more like, okay, I could do this. I could step into this. And yes, the imposter voice is still going to show up. Yes, the questioning and like doubt or fear is still going to show up. It's just, who do you let drive? Do you let the version of you that's succeeding drive and like take the reins? Or do you let the version of you that's scared and feeling like you're never going to make anything of yourself drive?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't pinpoint when it happened, and I would imagine that you carry a lot of this with you too. Like somewhere in this last year, like I just basically said, fuck it. Like, I mean, I don't give a fuck like about like, and it's not that it's not there. It's not that the voice doesn't creep in. I just won't listen to it. Like I won't give any weight to it because my new thing is that all the answers that you need come from action. All the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, all the what ifs, all the structuring of the deal. Go take action. And just, I guarantee you that you're going to go, no, it's not, that didn't work for me. Back up. But here's the problem. They're headed down the path and they're so scared to turn around. My whole life is one big turnaround. I'm totally comfortable with that.
Well, this comes back to the thing, right? It's like you had to make some mistakes. And at the end of the day, when we really look at like the action piece, this is a quote from Mark England that I've taken and I've applied to my life. Action dispels overwhelm. And it's true, because if you are overwhelmed about something, but you're stuck in inaction and you're not moving anything forward, well, now all I'm going to do is keep that mental churn going. And I'm just going to stay where I am. If I take one step forward, or if I take one step to the side, even if I take one step back, I took action and now I see things differently. I have a different perspective. I'm no longer overwhelmed by the bigger thing. I can kind of get a different view on it or get a different perspective. And then I realized, oh, okay, if I just keep taking a series of actions, then I'm going to get closer, or I'm going to learn something new that I didn't know before. Right. And so it's so much of what I'm doing now in my life is things that I saw myself doing 4 or 5 years ago, things I wanted to do, things that I was scared shitless to do. And now I show up, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's my life. Right. And sometimes I have to check myself and remind myself like,
dude,
oh yeah.
Dude, the number one thing is you're like standing in your life. Like I make a joke, but you're like standing in your life and you're like, wait, this is all the stuff I wanted 2 years ago. And I'm actually doing it. I don't even.
That happens to me every day, Austin. That happens to me every day.
Like I wanted this.
Yeah, I wanted this. One, I wanted this. 2, I asked for it. 3, I dared to go get it. Like that's it. I wanted it. I asked for it and I dared to step into it. And when I really look at all of the things that have come to me where I have those daily recognitions like, oh, this is my life. Oh, this is my life. Oh, this is really cool. I immediately express gratitude for it because it's like, wow, I'm so grateful that I like got this opportunity and that I'm grateful that I said yes. And I'm grateful that I asked, right? Because it's things that have been, I mean, there's pieces of it that I saw and I wanted, and I said, I have no clue how I'm going to get that. I have no clue how I'm going to be able to achieve that. I don't know where the hell like that's going to come. I don't have an understanding of how that's going to become the reality. But the thing was, I dared to go for it anyway. Mm-hmm. And something I didn't need to know how. I didn't need to know the exact route. What I needed to know was the direction, right? And the destination. And I could re-navigate along the way if I took a wrong turn, but I still knew where I was going. And a lot of that I attribute to the power of writing down my goals and being very clear and precise in writing them down. Like I'm stoked for you to join us on that goal setting workshop next week because
well, I would say, and it's very interesting because in about 2 hours, I have a new call with an entire management staff. So of a company a client I've coached for a year. And then I thought we were done. And he asked me like, hey, can you coach all the managers? I actually know them. So they're building a massive health insurance business. And what's interesting is I would say, and maybe because it's so out there, I would say that goal setting is probably the number one thing that people want, right? And it's odd for me because I myself have goals, but I don't really live off of them because, and I'm just a different human. Like for me, a lot of my stuff is super fluid. So I have numbers, obviously I need to hit or I'm trying to get to just stretch me, but I'm more of a lifestyle guy. So, I fight with the analytical people because they love a good goal, But I also think, and this is something my coach, who's a hoot and a half, who's crazy as shit. He's awesome as fuck. He lives in Costa Rica. He said that what we've done with gratitude and goals is we've now bastardized them. He said, so now we put them on a list and we said, here's my, well, I'm saying my gratitude every morning and I'm checking it off the list. And he says, yeah, but you're not sitting with it. You're not writing it down. You're not breathing. You're not actually embodying your goals. And one of the things that I liked about the little bit that Mark did is I felt like it was more of it felt firmer the way that it was done because I can, and I don't know about you, but this is truly me. And it just happened to me 2 days ago with one of my clients. He wrote me the goals for the next 6 months. I looked at him. I go, no, those are bullshit. I was like, those aren't even your goals. I was like, those feel so hollow. Like it feels like somebody gave you them and they wrote it down. Like, do you have that with your
process? That's part of the process. So I'll speak to this part for myself, right? Because goal setting has been if I had to pick one thing that was the essential thing that got me.
Yeah, but you're writing them down. Most people aren't writing.
Oh, totally. So I'll explain in the beginning when I first learned this practice. Prior to doing that, right, I had goals in my head and I had ideas in my head, and I had no real attachment to them. And attachment could also be swapped out there for embodiment. Right? Like I didn't believe them to be mine. I just had these ideas of that this could be something cool to achieve. Mm-hmm. When I started to learn the process of writing them down and then getting really specific with them and then putting dates on them and then giving myself a timeline and benchmarks to them. Yeah. I was scared shitless because most of them I felt were unattainable and unachievable. And I was writing them down and it was like 50-50. Some of them were like, oh, I could totally do that. And the other 50 were like, no fucking way. And the thing was that I still put them down on paper. I still had that kind of like anchored into my head that it was possible. And there was plenty that I came up short on. Right. And they just got pushed out to a further date or they got rearranged or adjusted. But because I was checking off things, it was like, oh, I got some momentum here. All right. So I did do some of this. All right. Got it. So some of these bigger ones that were, I said I wanted it by the, end of 2019 and it didn't happen until the middle of 2020. So fucking what? What is time? Doesn't matter. I still did it. So I'm not holding myself so tightly to them. But what I did was in the beginning, I got a really good practice of doing it quarterly. And so I would write them down quarterly and then I would set it and forget it, like literally write it down. And I had that like direction in my head, but it wasn't a hard and fast rule. And that was me chickening out. Like that was me not owning it 100% of the way. Cause I was like, oh, well, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. Like, it's not a big deal, rather than being like, no, this is what I'm going to do. So the beginning phases of that, like learning to write them down and learning to hold myself accountable to them, was a struggle of identity, right? I didn't believe that I had the identity of the person who could achieve those things. Mm-hmm. And that is the essential piece, right? So the goal setting, I'll give everybody a preview for the goal setting workshop that we're going to do in 2 weeks. We have a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is the target / goal. That's the thing we're moving in the direction of. The base of the pyramid is 2 pieces. It's plan and it's identity. So plan is, these are the action steps I'm going to take. We look at a short term, medium term, long term. These are the things I've got to do to achieve this. And then the part of the conversation that Enlifted like owns when it comes to goal setting, because people aren't talking about this, is identity. And who do I need to be to achieve this goal? Like, who do I need to be to like step into this? What are the identities that I need to hold that make me believe that I can enact this plan and that I can reach this target? And we go through, clear out the stories that keep you confused about your identity, right? Keep you stuck in old patterns, behaviors, replace it with a new identity, right? The identity you want to have, and help you rep that and embody that identity. Because much like what you described, is that if I'm embodying my goals, and if I'm embodying the person who's going to achieve those, I am going to flow through it and I'm going to check them off with ease, right? So if we can get that identity on lock and then we can get that plan really clear, the target is a no-brainer. Like, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And so the identity conversation, like, there's a lot that goes into that, right? Because as you know, the stories and the way we view ourselves from our entire life is what we're up against in that piece. And so we can get the identity of the person who's going to succeed, and we can rep that identity and embody that identity, which comes down to short affirmations with breath to bring it into the body, right? To be able to rep it, repeatable day after day, hear it in the moments when it's like, I don't want to work out. It's like, well, I'm a person who works out.
Yeah. And that's what I do. And I'd like to, so guys, I'm always honest. I'll actually call myself out for that little, before she got started. So funny enough, I actually did write a goal down for myself. It's on my whiteboard. I could see it right here off the back corner. June 1st, I am $1,000 from hitting that goal. That goal, when I wrote that, I don't know why I wrote that. It's a ridiculous amount of money. It is, I had no idea. My business was at the lowest it was ever. And I just did more in 6 months than I did in like 3 years combined. And so I'll be honest with you, once I wrote it down and I circled it like 3 times, I stare at it every time I work out, things just started happening. And it's like, it really is that thing when you don't, like, this is a real thing that I question people on. Have you told the universe that you're going to be successful? I mean, have you fucking said the words out loud? Because I can tell you where I was. Now, granted, it preceded in a divorce, but at least I said it, because I was in a car. We were having a really bad fight with my ex-wife, and I was just so over it. And I said, you know what? I said, nothing that you're going to do is going to hold me back from changing the world. And I said, I will do this. And at 36 years old, 30 fucking 6, that's the first time I actually ever said it and felt it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what happened ever since then. Because one of the things that my buddy talks about all the time is, he said, look, if you want a goal, I'm not going to drink for 30 days. That's super easy. And you can hit that. But if your identity is you're an alcoholic, well, then you're going to relapse. And so they always tell you, if you want to stop drinking, you change your identity. You don't stop drinking.
Yes. Yes. And this comes to the place, right, where it's like, put it somewhere where you can see it. Put it somewhere where it's meaningful and that it's like,
where it haunts you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll share a story. Before I started working with the Unlifted team, and before I started doing like our podcast and Tuesday Night Live, I was doing a weekly show on my own Instagram called Coffee Talk Live. Every Sunday morning I would get on, I would interview a coach, and I would talk about different topics related to health, fitness, mindset. And it scared the crap out of me. Against everything in my body, like I did not want to do this, but I just kept getting this voice that was telling me that I had to do it, I had to show up, and I had to get good at it. Right. And it was like, so there was part of me that really, really, really wanted it and saw a lot of value in it. And then there was a bigger part of me that was just like, well, actually it wasn't bigger, because the one that wanted it won, because I did show up and do it. But the thing was it was like, every week before the show, I would get so much anxiety. I would question if it was going to be good. I would question if anyone wanted to listen. I was putting so much pressure on myself about it. And at some point I think this actually was when I was going through Unlifted level 2, and Mark prompted us to write down our goals and to start taking some action on it. And it was like, I wrote down that I wanted to do this show, and I was like, I was going to interview people. And he's like, all right, you're going to write down the names, right? He's like, write down the goal. How many episodes? All right, cool. I said 1 a week, 52 a year. Got it. Wrote that down. Then he's like, write down the names. I started writing down the names. I was like, cool. And then I just knew I had to go act on that. Right. And every single week I had to show up and do that. And I put the paper on my fridge where I had, it was actually on a piece of art that I did that I turned into my logo. And I wrote the goal right on top of it, and I put it on my fridge. So literally every day I was walking up to my fridge and I was seeing this beautiful piece of art with my goal written on top. And I kept telling myself, it's like, you asked for this, you wanted this, you're going to do it. Now, what ended up happening was, this is a fun twist of events. I said 52 episodes in the year of 2020, I guess it was. Are we still in 2020? Maybe it was whatever. It was 52 episodes. Yeah. And it was like, I got through, I want to say.
Oh, wait, it's 2021.
2021, whatever. Okay. So maybe it's 2020. I'm like, I don't know what time it is. I don't care about time. I just, whatever. So I showed up and I started to, like, at some point, that show was out of alignment with what my intention of it was, right? Because my intention was to build clients for my health coaching business. And at some point I stopped doing as much health coaching, and I was no longer seeking clients. And so I asked myself, I said, hey, I'm really tethered to this goal, but I'm showing up and I'm half-assing it because the result that I wanted is no longer the result that I wanted. So what do I do here? And I had to have a hard talk with me, because I was like, I can't give up on my goal, right? I have to see it through. And it was like, well, what was the intention of my goal? The intention of my goal was to interview coaches and was to share about the work that I do. And it was to make myself more visible and have a platform, right? And then at that point in time, I'm also doing Tuesday Night Live. So I'm like, I'm doing that every week. the goal, like the specifics of the goal of my show, were no longer relevant. What was relevant, because I wanted the feeling that was attached to the goal, and I wanted the platform, and I wanted the conversations that were attached to it. It didn't have to be the specifics of my channel and my show. So I just translated it over to something else. And now I translate it over into the Enlifted podcast. And so it evolved. It actually got better,
way better,
because I leveled up every single time. And if I kept myself like stuck in that goal, my identity would not have evolved to the place it needed to be to push me towards growth. So sometimes goals, like, you have to throw them out because you outgrow them. And if I was so stuck to that and I wanted to live in only that goal, I wouldn't have said yes to a new opportunity. And then I definitely would not be the host of what is going to be the #1 health and fitness podcast on Spotify and iTunes. Okay. In 2022, we are manifesting the crap out of that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Why? Because I say it every time I tell somebody we're doing this show. I'm telling the universe we're going to do it. So
I would say that 90% of my clients 2 months, 3 months in have to throw out all their goals and rewrite them. All of them. Just happened with the clients. They were like, well, we hired you for this and we're way away from that. And I was like, yeah, because I'm trying in like, they even fight me on it. Like, they're like, well, this is not why we hired you. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Why'd you hire me? I'm trying to tell you that life is more important than your damn business goals.
Yeah.
You know, and like they're and so like this thing like that got you there, then this got you here, and who knows where you're going to go from here, which I'm sure Enlifted's going to be doing live events and all this stuff. And so it's like, and the thing is like, and I try to tell people every time, the only thing that can hold you back and also like propel you forward and kill you at the same time is your own vision.
Yeah.
You're
limited by what you can imagine for yourself. Like, that's it, and that's bringing it back to your point about how you filter out people who are just not on the same wavelength as you. That is the most important thing you need.
No, you are crazy. I have not met a group of human beings that are more positive and amazing. I swear to God, haven't met one that I would be like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm not going to spend time with you. I know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm every single day, I'm like so grateful that this is my job and that these are the people that I get to work with, because the community that you surround yourself with is everything. If you are constantly like trying to prove yourself to a bunch of people who are not on the same playing field as you are and just don't see the world in the same way that you do, and that they choose to play in the victim state, or they choose to play small, or they are on the side of erring around caution, that's okay for them, but that's not okay for you, right? Like, you're seeking growth. You got to go put yourself around other people that are seeking the same. And when you have everybody from all sides being that gasser for you, like how you described, like you see that person at their highest and then you just speak to them like you're there. Imagine having that times 200. That's a whole different game, because now I have what I need to solidify the identity. That now I have like the reflections that I need to push me towards my success. And the Enlifted community is one of the most amazing accidents that ever happened, because we never sought to build a community. Like, Mark didn't decide, I'm going to build a coaching community. It was literally like he was building coaching certifications. He liked all the clients that came through. He was having a good experience with them, and he just started introducing them to each other. And then he was like, hey, it would be really cool if you guys could all connect. And Mark is a connector. That's his biggest superpower, is connection and building people and networking people together and introducing other people to each other. So he's just like, oh, like all these people are my clients and they're really great. Like, I want them all to know each other. And then before you know it, it was like, oh, there's like 30 of them. And then there's 50 of them. And then there's close to 100 of them. And then we got to that 100 mark. This is when I was still a client. It was like, everybody was so rad and had so many great things to contribute that it was like, this is like a real thing. This is a real thing. And then it became, we have a community and we're going to nurture it and we're going to grow it. And this is one of the biggest assets of this coaching certification now, is because you get to come through and you get to go through this process for yourself and 9 other people in your group, right? You get to intimately know this process and this coaching experience with 9 of your peers. And then on the other side of it, you get to go meet 200 other friends that's constantly growing, depending on when you listen to this, that are all thinking in this growth mindset alongside of you, and that are all doing something that is awesome. And they're all like moving themselves forward. There's a lot of forward momentum. And so even if you're having an off day, or you're just like, you kind of are not 100%, all you have to do is like, go be like, let me open my Instagram and go see what these 5 people are doing. And you're going to be like, cool, I'm good. I got it. I can move forward. Like, or they're going to reflect something to you that's like, man, I really enjoyed what you said on this podcast. It really landed for me. And then it's like, you get to go interview them. And it's like, oh, wow, that was a great boost of energy. Like, it's just like a walking white pill is how Adam describes it. It's like this walking little like bump of energy that's like, boop, hey, I feel better now. And
I think that ultimately what's interesting is that we, like, the thing is like, as a coach, just from a perspective of like, I don't have an option but to continue to grow, or I wouldn't continue to get clients.
Yep.
And so, like I said, same thing with the health, same thing. Like, you've almost kind of built in your own thing. And I don't say this from a place of ego. I say it from a place of make me feel better about myself. Like, I am newish to coaching per se, because of the pandemic. And, I've met people like Anat who, studied for 9 years without getting paid. So I'm very new to the, this profession. And until you get around other coaches and you're like, wait, okay, I can hang with them. Like, maybe I don't have as much training. Like, for me, that's what it did. Like, yeah, all the techniques and tricks and tearing up my own story. But for me, that is probably my biggest takeaway is being like, oh, homeboy has game, like, and so like that community being able to like bounce stuff off of each other and like, what do you think about this? And, Dennis asked me about, what do you do when this client does this, and vice versa. Like, that to me has been the piece that I'll cherish for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's awesome to have that built-in support network, and it's awesome to have people that you can go to refine your craft, right? Like, you would, if you didn't have Dennis and you didn't have Chase and you didn't have all these other people that you've like come to really build great relationships with, you'd have to go pay somebody to tell you that, like,
yeah,
you would.
And they're pricey. Yeah.
They're pricey. Yeah. And so like I
just went through a very hard situation last week. And because I happened to talk to Chase, he said one sentence that snapped it in perspective. And that conversation went amazing.
Yeah. And I can speak to this. Same thing on my side. Like, I've just had amazing relationships with people that have offered me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of coaching and guidance and education for free. Like, because, and it's not, I'm not going into their structured programs for free. It's not like I'm doing it, but it's like one phone call or one lunch or one podcast where we exchange some knowledge. I'm like, wow, that was very valuable for me. And I'm going to take that and immediately implement.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, this podcast. I mean, you said it, 100% is a feeling, not a number. Like, I'll take that for the rest of my life.
Good. Yes.
Like, because 90% of the times I see my clients are living their life off of a scoreboard, and like, well, I didn't do this and I didn't make this many calls. And I know, but what did you do? Like, well, I gave it my all today. Okay, well, great. And let's fucking go to tomorrow. Like,
yeah,
that's
like that. The thing that I've learned, it's like harnessing that like feminine energy, right? Like, the masculine is the do, and the feminine is to be and to flow. And 100% is a feeling, is like, well, some days, like, I really need to just like lay in bed and process my emotions and send one email. And that was all that I had to give. The
power in shutting it down for the day is the greatest thing in the entire world. When you're like, you know what, we're just throwing the hammer down, rescheduling everything.
Totally.
There's no better day to just give yourself the permission to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's like leaning into that is something that will get you
really hard.
Like, yeah. And that's like the long game approach, like, it's the long game. And like, I'm in this for the long game. I would assume you're in this for the long game.
Well, I just come to a place, and I was just telling my bodywork person this weekend, I've come to a place where I realize that everything I'm involved in, right? Coaching, business, health, relationships, every one of them I'll be doing till my last breath. So if that's the case, there's no pressure whatsoever.
Yep. It's a beautiful thing to realize there's no finish line, That's Joel Cochran taught me that. He's also one of the coach. He's like, there's no finish line.
No.
Finish line is death, actually. So why are you rushing towards that?
I love it. So if people want to find out about the coaching certification, your podcast, all that kind of stuff, how would they do that?
Yeah, come find us on Instagram at Enlifted Coaches. That's going to be a direct line to me. I manage that account and we can chat there. And if you want to learn more, go on to our website, enlifted.me. And then if you want to chat with me personally, if you want to talk about rowing, you want to talk about health coaching, you want to just like see me out there doing all my rowing stuff and making cute, healthy meals, at Kimberly.Kesting on Instagram.
Love it. Guys, if you like this episode, send it out to your friends, share it with somebody to get some value, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.